Hi, I'm Caroline. I'm a second year by next year, and this is Liam. He's a second year lawyer. And one of the reasons that we applied to be access officers and why we think we'd be good at it is we study completely different subjects and from opposite ends of the country. So I think when students come to visit, we'll give a broad representation of Cambridge students. We both attended access events before coming to Cambridge and applying, and we both think we personally benefited from it, and it really did give me the confidence to apply. We both went to state comprehensives with no family history of going to university, so we can really empathise with students who don't get the same amount of support as others. I can personally empathise with students who have difficult circumstances surrounding their applications, and specifically whenever I give tours, I always offer advice and say, such as informing them that you can fill in an extenuating circumstances form. We've both been involved in access events such as returning to our old school. I've helped out at various events such as tours, open days, and organising my own school, visiting Selwyn, which was really good fun, and I really found it rewarding, especially when I heard back and found out that a student had actually applied to Selwyn after I gave her a tour, and another one who said they wanted to get married at Selwyn. Yay!
Hi everyone, we've got some interesting ideas that we think would be really good for the role. Firstly, we'd like to produce an access prospectus. So this would be a more down-to-earth student view of Selwyn, which would hopefully convey the friendly image that we're so famous for. We would give this out at open days and school visits. Secondly, we want to capitalise on the fact that we study arts and sciences subjects. I think one of the main concerns of prospective applicants is that they can't decide what subject to choose. I personally changed my mind 3 times. During access events, we would consider splitting up groups into arts and sciences. This would allow us to provide more specific talks and tours and better advice. We want to avoid situations where, for example, Caroline had to take people around Sidgwick even though she'd never been before. We also want to improve communication with university-level access schemes. So basically, if anyone from Selwyn was in a shadowing scheme, we want to ensure that Selwyn Access knows about that and can collaborate and can ensure that the person being mentored has a good time with Selwyn and gets to meet Selwyn students.
As you can probably tell from the ridiculous amount of spamming that we do on the freshers pages, we're both very determined and dedicated people who love getting involved in college life. Access is really important, and especially this year, given the changes to maintenance grants and A-level reforms.
We're both incredibly keen to be access officers, and we advocate a collective and proactive approach which would allow us to draw upon a depth of experience from many different people. We're the best people for the role for a number of reasons.
Charlotte's super organised and extremely hardworking and just incredible in every way everything's done. She already has a huge amount of experience through volunteering at access events both in college and back in Yorkshire. She contributes to access websites such as Be Cambridge and will soon be running a Philosophy Camp account. She's also heavily involved in RAG and is amazing at managing huge projects such as the recent Christmas shoebox appeal, which was a massive success.
Guy is genuinely an amazing person and has an incredible ability to get absolutely anything done. She's directed every Selwyn show since she became a student here, demonstrating her dedication to the college, plus her ability to organise and direct a group of students. Guy runs an access blog with 800 followers, providing her with deep understanding of what prospective applicants want to know, and a huge amount of experience in answering often very difficult and unique questions.
We want to make it easier for students to get involved in access, so after training and liaising with KUSU, we pass on this training and provide a set of resources, including tips on giving presentations in schools through the KUSU Target Scheme, and producing a guide to giving college tours, making it much easier for volunteers.
Basically, we want to pull together our experience, KUSU's resources, and the questions we know applicants want answers to, and put it all in one place, which we will publicise to schools and colleges, with low numbers of Oxbridge applicants in specifically targeted areas. We want to make them accessible so that students can find these independently. We want to create a follow-up procedure for those who have already visited Selwyn and question how colleges currently decide which schools to target and get more involved in planning open days and visits.
We would improve the website drastically, and most importantly, we would create a document for each subject outlining and summarising key information for prospective applicants. We would also have a greater online presence elsewhere, such as the student room and Facebook page for applicants to ask questions.
We would achieve all this by establishing an access committee, enabling us to get a lot more done.
We want to create an effective, proactive and collective
Hey everyone, I'm Kevin.
I'm Martha.
We're second year HSB students with basically 3 main reasons why we think we should vote us for access.
So number one, we really do bring the diversity. We're a guy and a girl, we're from opposite ends of the UK, Edinburgh and London. We're different nationalities, different ethnicities.
We took different qualifications. She did the IB, I did the Scottish education system. And we also went to different types of schools.
Yes, we went to state comprehensive and I transferred from comprehensive to tertiary college in the last few years. And so all that we basically think means makes us pretty well placed to empathise with a wide range of applicants and understand their needs and possible fears when applying to Cambridge.
However, we are completely aware that there are lived experiences that we have no idea about, and that's why one of the key themes of what we do is, if elected, is collaboration, and this has been raised before this afternoon. We want to survey as many cell instruments as possible and work closely with other JCR officers like disabilities, BME, and LGBT+ and gender equality to incorporate other voices into our access programs.
Okay, so number 2 is we're well informed.
We both study sociology, and if there's one thing that we love to talk about anything, it is inequality, which is essential to what access is about. It's not, that means you don't have to worry about us putting our work above our JCR commitments, because one will feed into the other.
And hopefully that means all of our reading has paid off and we actually have some kind of expertise on the subject. So skills like making good unbiased surveys and understanding statistics and all that other kind of nerdy social science stuff will come in handy to, so we can use like evidence to back up any ideas we have. So for example, we did a quick survey of freshies before making the speech, and we found that there were a lot of people agreed with stuff that we thought of ourselves about, misconceptions about certain colleges, and generally how the website is incredibly useful and we need to update that more.
The third reason is basically, although we think the word is widely used, we are passionate. Go for us. Thank you very much.
Okay, start with Patty.
So access can be quite an infuriatingly bureaucratic role. It can be quite difficult to communicate with college, just a lot of emails. How would you reinvigorate the role of access in Selwyn?
Let's start with the original order. Well, through organising the Freshers Guide, I was really involved with communicating the stuff we go through. I think helps out a bit at the access events. I've already spoken to Keela, so just continuing to email and making sure that keep up with stuff. I don't really.
I think that there's a lot of stuff that we could do ourselves that's going to be helpful for people, but not necessarily go through the college system. So particularly our online stuff, because I already run a blog, I answered tons of questions on that. And if you kind of transferred that onto Facebook or something like that, then it would give an informal kind of forum for people to be able to ask questions, and we wouldn't actually have blocks from the college.
Yeah, I think it's important to establish a good working relationship, and using the idea that there's a new schools liaison officer, which hopefully should be a bit better. So work with them, but then if we do hit barriers, then we've got so much other stuff we can be doing that's just independent of college in that sense.
I guess one of the things that can happen with loads of bureaucracy is you get the effect of Chinese whispers and stuff that you want to get across doesn't really, it's not as clear as possible. So one of our main things is going to be clarity. If you have seen our manifesto, we tried to keep it really to the point, and I guess it's digestible information, which would hopefully that's what we would do, communicating with college.
I think a big part of our aims is to maintain a healthy interaction between JCR and the student body, which is why we took the initiative to go out and actually survey freshers around Crips, send out surveys just to sort of get an overall consensus of what the student body feels. And in terms of liaising with the college, it may be difficult in relenting certain aspects of access that they don't want us to necessarily know about. Getting the message across, showing them that we have the student body, that we have the stats behind this, we have the evidence to show that we need to know what it is. So enforcing that fact, I think, would make the issues a bit easier to do.
So it's my understanding that a lot of the problem as access officers is that the college itself does a lot of stuff without communicating with you, they have their own access scheme. Do you have any ideas of how to make it so that you're in closer communication with college and what college is doing, and that you're better informed?
Well, I guess
Okay.
So the question was, how would we?
So how do you ensure that college involves you in what they're doing and communicates with you better?
So I think there's a new access officer who's just come in, who apparently is a lot more receptive to the JCR. So that'll definitely help. But I guess it's all about communication. We'll set up as many meetings as possible. We're thinking maybe getting some kind of committee together for access, and like possibly involving the people like obviously very passionate and also by this job, and so like yeah, whoever doesn't get it can also be involved, and hopefully if we have more channels to communicate with, more voices, then that'll be easier to like show how much we care, show how much we really want to be involved with the college's like overall scheme.
Well, I guess a really easy way is just to introduce ourselves. So if we find out who the relevant people are in college, go to them, establish a good working relationship. I think the people at the college level can organise the schemes easily, but also where we would come in is recruiting people like you to come and help. I think that's where our asset would be. So we would build a good relationship with them, but B, focus on trying to recruit people from a range of different subjects to help out at such events.
Also remind them that most people, whenever I've given tours, the teachers have always fed back being like the most useful thing is speaking to current students. So making sure that if they do have visitors, they should know that the best people for them to meet are people who actually go there.
I mean, I think if there's one thing that we're particularly good at, and especially Charlotte, it's like pestering people to do things until they do it. Like that's how she managed to send off like 50 shoeboxes to kids in Syria. So like first of all, we would just go introduce ourselves and set up a meeting and say like, look, what do you do? How can we get involved? Essentially just like, hi, we're here, we want to be involved.
Yeah.
And pester them until they let us be involved.
Yeah, I think regular meetings would be a really good idea because also there's definitely like a massive lack of communication and that works against what they do as well. So when I've done like a college stuff before, I just turned up. They said, oh, come 5 minutes before it'd be fine. I turned up, there was 60 kids. I had to give a tour around the Fitzwilliam Museum and didn't know where it was. I had to take them, had to try and get access into it for 60 kids, and it was like an absolute nightmare. And then it makes it look really unprofessional on their part. So sort of talk to them about that kind of thing and like, here we produce a guide for college stuff that'll really help you as well as you helping us. So yeah, regular meetings and just being really keen, I think.
Yeah, so as an international student, I found it extremely inaccessible to apply to Cambridge at all. And obviously you can't bring international students to Selwyn to give them a tour. It's really expensive. But how would you liaise with the international officer? Like, what schemes would you put in place for international students to know what Selwyn is?
Yeah, I mean, I think that like one thing that I've noticed from like running the blog is that a lot of international students struggle a lot with understanding what is required of them, particularly because there's a set A*AA for people in the UK, and then everyone else is like, what are we doing? So basically, like have an online bank of resources and send them out as much as we can. Basically, find out from international students what their key issues were in applying, and try and sort it so that it's a lot easier. And I think a lot of online stuff and improving the website would help in that area.
I think as well, when we're making these resources, it's important to recognise when we're not qualified to do something. So make the resources, but then give it to the international person and say, what have we missed out? Like, what are we not thinking of? I like to the DME officer and that kind of thing, so that we're covering all grounds that we're not capable of covering. So do our best, but then get other people's opinions and get other people involved as well.
I think, I'm partially in agreement with what they're saying, and we do maintain like a big emphasis on providing a solid online presence where people can access really like easily accessible and digestible information. Sound College website, which we do think, building on what Hattie and Ryan have done over the last year with day in life videos, providing a lot more information that way, revamping the website sort of.
Yeah, we had a look at like some other colleges' websites, and Trinity actually had a really good one where they, I don't know if it's made by like an external source because Trinity has done the money, but we could do something similar, just like copy it. So they had like really good interview resources, so it's basically any teacher who read them could give at least a decent like practice interview, which I think international students might have had trouble with, because it's like, yeah, a bit of stuff was lost in like cultural translation. And also they had student testimonials, which we could have like on top of day live videos. So if people just want something a bit quicker to like read through, then yeah, that gives like, I guess, a really key sort of account of what life is like in Cambridge, which might be good.
Yeah, I definitely say adding to the Selwyn College website, because currently there isn't actually any access stuff on there. So make sure, because everyone before they apply checks the college website, so if we add the day in the life videos, any students, if someone just has something to say that they think will help you apply, any international students that want to talk about their qualifications, just make sure it's all on there and they can read it, and make sure there's an email present so they can contact us if they want more.
No, thanks very much, guys.